September 2023 Cameron R1 School Board meeting. I'm going to start the meeting off this evening by reading the mission and the vision statement. The mission of the Cameron R1 School District is to educate and empower our students to reach their full potential. And the vision of the Cameron R1 School District is to offer an exceptional educational experience. So if you all rise with me, we'll state the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on our agenda tonight is we want to recognize some Dragon Excellence Awards. And I think we have an individual with us tonight that we would like to recognize.
Yeah, and maybe before we do that, I do appreciate Brett being here. We do have a couple, I want to kind of make note of that Betsy Bogle, one of our preschool teachers, has a master's in early childhood education that she has received. Ashton Duncan, one of our kindergarten teachers, received a master's in curriculum and instruction. Randy Ott, first grade, master's in educational leadership. Kim Holmes and Gifted, a master's in gifted and talented. Clint Ott, a master's in education administration from Northwest Missouri State. And Kimber Zubek, master's in education from Northwest Missouri State. And then we do have Brett here, and Brett earned a master's degree of education and learning, teaching, and curriculum with an emphasis in art education from the University of Missouri. So congratulations. Well, you might get a picture. Please, thank you. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is consideration of the proposed agenda. Everyone's had a chance to review the agenda, and we'll move right into the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, or any input about the consent agenda? Motion to approve. Motion to approve. Do I have a second? Motion by Ms. Goodwin-Clark. Second by Ms. Early. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Seeing none, consent agenda passes. Next on the agenda are administrative reports. So we don't have any action reports tonight, so administrative reports. So Dr. Utecht.
Good evening, thank you. Just outside of what's in my board report, I'd just like to let everyone know we've started our walkthroughs. Our principals have started to go through classrooms, and we're focusing as a district on 6.1, and that is verbal and nonverbal communication to align with our communication plan. Also, we have an update from the state with the board, or with the preliminary statewide results. Those were published. However, ours is still lagged in, and it's called not released at this point. So we end up having testing in April, but we wait until October to get those results. So one of the things that we like to do is take a look at other assessments that we can give periodically throughout the year. And I've included also the assessment calendar in there, and that makes sure that we aren't overlapping and over-assessing students at different grade levels. Student enrollment is staying pretty steady. I included those numbers in there. And we're continuing with the Read, Lit, Exceed initiative, and that is through those assessments. Now we're going to be looking at areas where we can have students participate in extra reading instruction. So at this point in the CSIP progress monitoring, we don't have anything to update until we get a little bit more of our assessment data. Do you have any questions for me?
I have a question.
Sure.
On the assessment calendar,
Yes.
I read an article about some schools in the state that got a waiver.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
We are not. Student Success Ready Network is a group of a few, some are local, but most of them are in the Kansas City and St. Louis area. They are looking at how are other ways that we assess students outside of the rote test that we give just in April and get the data away 6 months later. So not only that, but how do we expand competency-based learning, and then student success ready in post-secondary opportunities while they're still in high school. So we have a lot of the qualities already, but it is something that is helping the state transition to possibly looking at other assessments than the MAP test.
So do we have the ability, this is designed to be able to assess more periodically so we can make adjustments along the way?
That's why we, yes, that's why we include extra assessments. The NWEA is also called the MAP test, but also the STAR, Early Literacy and STAR assessment, that is given as well. And so those help us then gauge what we're doing more than just every 6 months, right? So, thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Hughes? Very good. Next would be Mr. Erdman, but I think Mr. Erdman must be doing some supervision this evening. Mr. Erdman and Mr. Stickle are both supervising activities for us this evening. So did you have anything out of the reports that anybody had any questions on? Okay. We'll just move on then to Ms. Rucker, CIS.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having me. I would just like this evening to send a shout out to Donna Frazier and the CIS cafeteria staff. They created a wonderful biscuit and gravy breakfast last Friday for emergency service personnel. As you know, September 11th was Emergency Services Day, and on Friday we had invited them to come to CIS, and it was an amazing day. Just the sparkle in the kids' eyes to see their heroes walking through the door was just priceless, and I don't think I could even get it in pictures, but the contagious positivity within the cafeteria was great that morning. So I just wanted to send a shout out to our emergency service personnel that were able to come, and for our cafeteria staff for creating such a great breakfast that morning.
Any questions for Ms. Rucker?
Good attendance numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
Starting off strong.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Ms. Hornby.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I wanted to share a celebration. First of all, we had 91% of our families show up at open house, which is a wonderful amount of families, so we were really happy about that. Another thing that I posted under Growth Mindset, and I really want to share with the community, is about Parkview certified staff having a growth mindset. Of the 45 certified staff members, 31 or 70% have obtained a master's degree in education. In addition, 4 more are currently enrolled in a master's program, 2 have obtained their specialist degree, and are also currently enrolled in doctoral programs. I'm just very proud of the collective commitment that they've made to further their education, and I can really see that coming in handy as we navigate the changes that education throws our way every year. So just wanted to share that in celebration. We have a lot of really great things planned this semester for our school. I know if you follow me on Facebook, you can see that we're celebrating building-wide celebrations with our students this year. Our first quarter celebration is going to be the Wild Wild West, and then we also have a grandparents' night scheduled that'll be centered around Mother Goose nursery rhymes and our traditional hay bale activity that we do. So if you're not checking us out on Facebook, if you could go and do that, or check out the school website. We post all that information currently and regularly. So hopefully you can join us. Any questions?
I appreciate the deep dive on the new, the letters reading information. That was helpful. I know that went out in the newsletter, was it? Or that was just for?
That was just for you all.
Okay.
I'd written it to actually read up to the board, and then I decided, it's kind of private. I didn't know if I wanted to share it in current company, so I thought, I think my teachers needed a shout out. So I posted it to Facebook so they could see how proud I am of them and know that, I see what they're going through. And it is definitely a burden that elementary schools have to bear throughout the state. It's not just Parkview and CIS, it's all of us in that together. And I think it's great research. I think it's well thought out. However, we're doing all of it all at once.
Yeah.
So I like to give my staff baby steps whenever we take on huge amounts of change, and we're not able to do that just due to state legislation. So we're highly qualified and we're navigating it, and I can't be prouder of my staff for how they're going through that process, but it is a lot. But I just want, all our families to know that their children's literacy is our number one goal. And if anyone thinks that it's not, then come and visit with me, and I will go through all the steps that we take every single day to educate our kids and make sure that their needs are met.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Ms. Crawford?
So I have two celebrations. First is an update on the playground. If you happen to have a chance to drive by, they did spray today. So the playground is sprayed. We do have to let it set for a little bit before kids can be on it. But hopefully by Thursday or Friday, we will get to be using the playground. So we're very excited about that. Then the other thing is, last year I shared that we have our compliance review every 3 years. Jesse looks at our paperwork, if we're following guidelines, if we're following timelines, meeting all the standards where it comes to evaluations of special education, the referral process, all of that. And we were 100% compliant again this year. So kudos to the special education staff for that work. It's not easy, as you guys know. There's a lot of paperwork in special education, so to have 100%.
That's an understatement.
It is, there's stacks. So to have 100% compliance, we have to turn in a certain percentage of files, and so, and they go through it with a fine tooth comb. It was actually due, we submitted everything last November, and we got word this last week that we were 100% compliant, so kudos to the staff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions about high school activities, maintenance, or technology for Dr. Robinson? Very good, thank you. We've reached the moment in the agenda that usually we have comments for items for consideration, but this evening we have no items for consideration. So this evening we will not be having comments because we have no items for consideration. So we're going to move right on into board member comments. And this evening I'm going to start with Ms. Lockridge. No comments. Ms. Early?
I just had some great privileges of being at some sporting events and seeing how our students are treating each other and rising to the occasion of supporting and celebrating each other has been amazing. And so, I've just thought about it so many times, and so I just want to say kudos to all of our principals and our staff and our teachers who are doing a great job at keeping our students focused on what's important, and they're learning in the schools, but the things that they're learning about teamwork and, spirit and just collaboration, I think are priceless, and I'm just so proud of our students because I think they're awesome, and so I think you guys are too, so thank you.
Ms. Peck?
I just want to give a shout out to the 6th graders in our district because the 6th grade class is at almost 99% attendance rate. So just a shout out to them, and then also for those parents of those kids who managed to have them prepared and ready and get them in their classrooms. So that's really all I had.
Go 6th grade.
6th grade.
6th grade. There you go.
Yeah, they're the example.
There you go. Mr. Grenier?
I have nothing.
I was just gonna say, it's good to see the positive attendance numbers in light of what we battled last year, and I think that's a sign that, people are using everything in our power to get kids here so that we can educate them, and they want to be here, so, yeah, thank you all for that.
I have a couple comments here this evening. First, I want to say thanks for the tailgate. I know some of the board was able to attend the tailgate before the last football game. And so I think it's always fun to see the staff gather and kind of kick off the year. So that was a good time. I also want to thank the community for the individuals who came out to the high school and did the open house. I think we had approximately 40-ish people tour the high school, and we got to see the new PAC and the science rooms and the new ag facilities, the new language arts facilities, and all the things that we've done. And we heard great comments, and it was just kind of a fun day. We served them cookies and some yummy punch, and it was just a just a good feel that day. So I want to thank the community for coming out and just once again, I know we've thanked them many times about supporting that bond project, but we are now in it and using it 100% and we're going to town. So I also want to thank the staff, Dr. Robinson and Clark and Dr. Kircher, who's not here tonight, the numerous hours and time they spent with architects and construction workers and just the patience it takes to get all that done. Doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you for all those hours that you did, and I know our students are better off for all of that, and I cannot wait to see Frozen as the first production in the new pack, and I know we're including now, I think some CIS students, so we're pulling in kids from younger grades into that theater and gonna get them up on stage. It's just gonna be a great event. So I encourage the community to support that. I think that's coming up. Watch communications in the Facebook page and the website. And you'll see, I think it's the second or third weekend in November, 17th and 18th, I think. So that should be a lot of fun. And I also want to remind the community of homecomings coming up, September 29th. And we'll have a parade. And so the board is invited to participate in the parade, and we'll walk through the streets and have some cheer and show our dragon spirit. And then homecomings that night, and that should be a great event for our community as well. It's just fun to see the alumni and people come back and really support that event. And then finally tonight, I was asked by some board members to make a statement about our most current issue that we've been facing. And so this is from a statement from the board that I want to read to the community. To the Cameron community, the Cameron-Arwen School Board has heard your concern about materials found in the school library. We attempted to address this concern with established policies and procedures by using review committees. 2 committees of 5 individuals of staff and volunteer parents reviewed approximately 10 books that were read and reviewed over approximately 3 months. However, after the committees reported their findings to the community via the school website, dissatisfaction was expressed, and committee members, the school district, students, parents, and others were targeted and bashed publicly about the results. The Board of Education recognized the volunteer members were being singled out publicly in our community, and the process and results were causing discord. The intent of that procedure was to evaluate and resolve the issues, not to target or disparage the opinions of volunteers for our district. So in August, the Cameron-Arwen School Board rescinded the policies and associated procedures to eliminate volunteers from unnecessary scrutiny and decided to review the book concerns with a different approach during a special called meeting on August 29th. First, the board reiterated the need for parent involvement in their students' education and asked the administration to continue to provide the parent media restriction form for parents who request to restrict access to certain materials for their students. Additionally, the board moved to direct the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and applicable principal to review the current disputed materials, including those previously reviewed. We requested that they review the books through policy regulation IIAC-R1, instructional media schools, media centers, school libraries, selection and reconsideration of materials, the district's vision and mission statement, the district's CSIP, continuous school improvement plan, policy AC, prohibition against illegal discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, and the Missouri state law. They are currently working through this process. The school board recognizes the concerns of the community and understands that some material with mature content may need to be restricted based on a student's age, and we support this approach. However, this process will take some time. Our administration and staff are extremely busy running the daily operations of the school of approximately 1,600 students and 300 staff. Our administrators wear many hats, and while we recognize the 80 disputed materials are a concern to some in the community, we cannot allow this concern to jeopardize our core mission of educating our students. Currently, we have asked administrators to give us an update on the 80 disputed materials at our December meeting. Let me stress, we have asked for an update, and the process may not be completed at that time. Until then, we will not be responding to the barrage of emails, communications, though we are reviewing and considering feedback as part of the new process. Additionally, requests to speak about the topic at board meetings will be restricted as allowed by state statute and board policy, which means that because this topic was addressed at the board meeting on August 29th, it will not be placed on the agenda again before November 29th. This does not mean that the work is not being done or that communications from stakeholders are not being considered. We have heard from you, and we must allow the process to work. Outrage, threats, fear-mongering, pointing fingers, intimidation, continual complaint filings, numerous public shaming and manipulation, and gotcha moments on social media or the like will not speed up the process or advance this concern. We have heard from you, and we will look at the content of this material as it relates to the education of our students. Parents, in the meantime, please remember you can always restrict your student from reading any library materials by filling out a form, and remember that that form is held in confidence. Additionally, since this has become a national and state issue, we will continue to look for guidance on how to handle these issues effectively and equitably for our students and community. We can all hope and advocate that a standardized national rating system for books can be developed to assist in the process of ensuring that schools, parents, and students are able to make informed decisions regarding the selection of and access to library materials. However, our local district does not have the resources or the time to independently develop such a system. We must review what we have and proceed accordingly. You have challenged us with a concern. We hear you and will attempt to work through this concern in an equitable and objective manner. Thank you for coming tonight to tonight's meeting. I do appreciate everybody that's here in attendance. And with that, I'm adjourning this meeting, and I'm asking for a motion to go into closed session under section 610.21 of the Missouri State Statute by roll call for subsection 2 and 13, I believe.
I would move that we go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021, subsection 3.
And 2.
And subsection 2, yes.
Okay, very good. I have a motion by Ms. Goodwin Clark. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Andy Lockridge. Any discussion? By roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.